Metroid Prime, one of the greatest games of all time. It brought the Metroid series back from the dead, revolutionized the gameplay of Metroid from 2D third-person perspective to 3D first-person perspective, innovated game designs. Yeah, I've never played it. Now you're probably thinking, what? You have never played Metroid Prime before? How are you even a Nintendo fan? I have a Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo that I use as a clock for my office instead of using it as an actual alarm clock. Why the fuck did I spend $100 on this? I play Nintendo games, and when I say Nintendo games, I mean Mario. I mean, come on, Mario games are what I grew up playing, thus I gravitate toward those games. Since I have started collecting Nintendo games, I have branched out to Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, and I've dabbled a little into Star Fox, F-Zero, and Pikmin, but I could never bring myself to play Metroid. Metroid is all about exploring labyrinths and completing puzzles, which I just hate doing. I have a ton of fun and respect for the Metroid series, and I am happy to see it still be successful with Metroid Dread on the Nintendo Switch. With Nintendo announcing a remastered for Metroid Prime for the Switch, I finally said, fine, and bought my first Metroid game. February 8th, 2023 brought us one of the best Nintendo Directs in recent memory, and halfway through it we got an announcement for Metroid Prime Remastered. I was absolutely ecstatic that Nintendo was remastering a GameCube game. They actually care about us. Nintendo is like a father to me. This remaster was done by Retro Studios, the original developers of the Metroid Prime titles, with some assistance from Iron Galaxy Studios. This version updates the visuals to look more modern, and throws in some bonus artwork that you can unlock as you progress through the game. The biggest upgrade of this version is hands down the controls. Metroid Prime released on the Nintendo GameCube in 2002. The GameCube has 2 sticks, and with the Xbox launching with Halo 1 year prior, that game showcased how first-person shooter gameplay works with dual-stick controls. The GameCube controller has dual sticks, and with Metroid Prime being a first-person shooter, or a first-person adventure according to Nintendo, obviously Nintendo followed suit with Halo on how the first-person shooter elements are controlled, right? Here's something funny about Nintendo. They're fucking stupid. Yeah, this game uses tank controls, meaning you cannot move and aim at the same time. You have to stand in place and then aim. This is probably the only problem with Metroid Prime. The controls are not detrimental to the game. The game was designed with these controls in mind, but it is just clunky that these controls were implemented when the GameCube controller has 2 sticks. Pikmin and Pikmin 2 suffered the same control issues, but all these control issues were resolved with their versions on the Nintendo Wii. In 2009, Nintendo re-released Metroid Prime and its sequel, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, alongside Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, as part of the Metroid Prime trilogy. All 3 of these titles bundled together for $50? That is a crazy good deal. Why can't Nintendo give us another amazing deal like this? Oh, of course in terms of controls, the Wii Remote has no sticks, but with the help of motion controls and the good old nunchuck attached, we can finally move and aim at the same time. What a revolution! Moving with the nunchuck and aiming with the Wii Remote, this became the definitive way to control Metroid Prime. Now we come back to the remake on Switch, and they give us both of these control schemes. You can play the original tank controls of the GameCube, play with the Wii controls using the Joy-Con, and now with the Switch, you can play this game like an actual first-person shooter. Took them long enough. The game was released digitally on February 9th, 2023, with a physical release launching later on the 22nd. The critics lifted up this remaster as a way to honor a classic, along with bringing it up to modern standards. It was criticized for not crediting the original developers by name. Rather, they were credited as original Nintendo GameCube and Wii version development staff. Look guys, it's hard to copy and paste a bunch of guys' names, especially when you're trying to rush a game out. As of March 2023, the game has sold over 1 million physical copies, and with the Metroid series selling over 4 million copies on the Switch as of November 2024, Nintendo sees this as a success for Metroid, and I couldn't agree more. Now the Switch Remaster is my first full Metroid experience, and the only version I have played of Metroid Prime, so I'll be focusing on the remastered version on Switch. I'll also try not to run back to Mario as fast as I can and talk about my experience with this amazing game. With that said, let's set the story. Metroid Prime takes place between Metroid and Metroid 2 on the planet Talon 4. The Chozo called the planet home until a meteor struck the planet with a mutagenic substance that the space pirates came to collect later called Phazon, and also brought a creature that the Chozo called the Worm. The Chozo managed to build a large emitter in the Talon overworld area that contained the Phazon, which later on the space pirates tried to disable to extract the substance. Samus Aran intercepts a distress signal coming from the Orpheon, one of the space pirates' frigates, where they have been slaughtered by their own mutated creatures that Samus eventually has to deal with. She comes across the Parasite Queen, which, after she defeats it, the Queen falls into the ship's reactor core, which starts the ship's self-destruct sequence. As Samus is escaping, she sees Meta Ridley, a cybernetic version of Ridley, also escaping. An explosion in the ship causes Samus' suit to lose all of its abilities, and she manages to get to her ship and follow Meta Ridley down to the nearest planet, Talon 4. After landing in the overworld area, Samus begins to explore the planet. Samus finds her abilities from her suit scattered across the area, which she will recover throughout her journey. She begins to uncover the Chozo's past, and she defeats a mutated plant that contaminated the water with Phazon. She makes her way down to the Magmorn Caverns, a series of magma tunnels that the space pirates are using to gain energy to power their operations on the planet. From there, she finds access to the Phendrana Drifts, a cold, mountainous region where she finds more of the Chozo's past and a space pirate research facility studying Metroids. Later, she explores the wreckage of the Orpheon and gains access to the Phazon mines. In the mines, she finds out what the space pirates are doing with the Phazon, including experimenting on Metroid Prime, the creature that came to the planet alongside the meteor. Deeper in the mines, Samus takes on Phazon-enhanced space pirates and deals with the Omega Pirate to obtain the Phazon suit. At some point, Samus finds the emitter that the Chozo created on the overworld area. Samus discovers that she has to collect the 12 Chozo artifacts to disable the emitter to gain access to the impact crater. After getting all the artifacts, Samus returns to the emitter to disable it when Meta Ridley gets the jump on her. Samus defeats Meta Ridley in a really fun boss fight, and is able to go down to the crater. Samus runs through the crater littered with Metroids and encounters Metroid Prime. After a long and brutal battle, Samus defeats Metroid Prime, and the creature absorbs her Phazon suit and explodes. Samus escapes the collapsing crater and gets off Talon 4 in her gunship. Now that was an adventure. I couldn't do that in a Mario game, that's for sure. As I said earlier, the gameplay of Metroid Prime is a first-person adventure with first-person shooter elements. For the Morph Ball sections, the camera shifts to third person, as you would most definitely vomit if you had to experience what Samus goes through to roll up into that ball. I'm vomiting because my body is rejecting new experiences. There are platforming sections, solving puzzles to reveal secrets, and a ton of combat. As you play the game, you get upgrades for your suit, like the Various suit, which protects Samus's armor in high-temperature regions. Certain upgrades are locked behind bosses, and you must unlock upgrades in a specific order, as you cannot explore the entire map without upgrading your suit. There are various ammo and health upgrades scattered around the world that are not required, but you should probably collect. This game implements a heads-up display that shows you the view inside of Samus's suit, which is really cool. You see your health, map, radar, ammunition, a danger meter to warn you about hazards in the area, and a name display for enemies. You can exchange different visors on the fly, one for X-ray vision, one for thermal imaging, and one to scan for enemy weaknesses and interfaces for mechanisms. Something I am very thankful for is the hint system introduced in this game, but that didn't stop me from just looking up a walkthrough on the internet. I'm a lazy gamer, or as some people would say, a dumbass. Trying to get your suit's abilities back is a bitch, but I appreciate the challenge that the developers have you go through to make an incredible gaming experience. Enough sucking them off. You get so many fun weapons and tools to use as you go throughout the game. The Morph Ball makes you question life and allows you to go through tight spaces and set down power bombs. The Grapple Beam allows you to go over large gaps and helps you get through certain areas quicker. You get 3 different beam weapons along with an upgrade to your standard beam weapon that all have their strengths and weaknesses to each other. Apparently in other Metroid games, these beams stack onto each other, but in this game you must switch between each of them to fit the right task in front of you. You can get the space jump, which allows you to jump higher. The gravity suit allows you to move through every space with no difficulty, like walking through water like you would on land. So many cool upgrades. It is a blast to go through these levels and find a suit upgrade or a weapon upgrade that allows you to get through the levels easier, and they are all a ton of fun to use. I absolutely blow at first-person shooters, but blasting through waves of space pirates with the different beam weapons made me feel so alive. I enjoy this feeling of bloodlust. So good. Metroid Prime Remastered is a truly beautiful remaster. The fact that we got this remaster goes to show you the legacy of Metroid Prime. The game spawned a trilogy, and spawned a pinball spin-off on the Nintendo DS for some reason. Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS and Metroid Prime Federation Force on the Nintendo 3DS were more in line with what you would expect for spin-off games, and each have their own merits. Metroid Prime 4 was announced at E3 2017 for the Switch, being developed by Bandai Namco Studios, then restarting development under Retro Studios in 2019, and is now set to release on the Switch in 2025. The music is phenomenal. The file select music is some of the best gaming music out there. With us getting Metroid Prime Remastered for the Switch, I feared that it was Nintendo's way of saying Metroid Prime 4 is not coming out on the Switch. That still could be the case since Nintendo decided to announce their next console, the Nintendo Switch 2, at the time of me writing the script, but hey, the success of this remaster, and with the Metroid series in general on the Switch, the future looks brighter and brighter for Metroid. Metroid Prime is one of the best games ever made, and Metroid Prime Remastered is a beautiful remaster. I genuinely enjoyed my time playing through this game. I thought I would be turned off by it, but honestly, I had more and more fun as I got deeper into it. The gameplay is fun, the controls are fantastic, the graphics are beautiful. This is a well-made remaster that sets a new example of how remasters should be done. For being my first Metroid game, I am very happy that I finally tried out the Metroid series. And who knows, maybe this will finally give me the courage to try out more games, more consoles, try having new and unique experiences. Okay, maybe not.